Okay. So good evening, professional project managers, PMI current members and future members. Welcome to today's event, Fast Track Your PMO at PMI Slovenia chapter. And we are pleased to be virtual guests in Slovenia. And just to give you some facts, one of the main pillars of the economy is the chemical industry. And its leading manufacturing sector in Slovenia. In total, 25% of the value added of the entire Slovenian manufacturing industry. So on behind of all of this industry stands a proper project management. And I'm Nadine. I will be a moderator of today's event. I'm the event manager at PMO Global Institute. So who are virtual guests today, you can switch on your cameras so we will see your smiling faces. And first of all, I'd like to pass the floor to the president of PMI Slovenia chapter, to Marko Golob, who is also a project manager at Adecta IT service and consulting company. So Marko, the floor is yours.
Hi everybody. Thank you for the word, Nadine. It's really great that we have this event together with your Global Institute, PMO. It is the first time in Slovenia that we are having this event. It's unfortunately you cannot be all here live, but there are also some people here live. And the other unfortunate things that happened that we have a really bad weather today in Slovenia, and a lot of people unfortunately are stuck in the traffic who actually should be here. But either way, I'm really happy to have this event. Thank you, Nadine, and thank you, Uroš, for organizing this. And thank you also to Sonia and Gregor and Abdullah and Corinne that you will have these great speeches because you are the best expert in the field that you are working on, especially in this project management office. Yes, I am Marko. I am here the president of PMI Slovenia. As Nadine mentioned, yes, I work as an IT project manager in company Adacta, and let's say that I am also now involved in this establishing a project management office inside Adacta. Me and two other colleagues are now doing this, and yeah, I say now that it's really important to have project management office, especially with organizations who have multiple project managers and multiple projects at the same time. So let's say that I will pass the word again to Nadine to start the official event. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marko. So now, dear professionals and leaders, let's dive into the greatest journey, the world of PMO and its opportunities. And now I will quickly roll through our agenda, through our learning objectives and session benefits. Today we are having such learning objectives as everyone will learn how PMO setup works. Everyone will learn tools and techniques to apply CB-PMO framework. You will increase your visibility and become recognized within your organization and peer circle. Also, you will make use of the best practices in PMO and increase the success rate of your projects. And you will earn 2 PDUs, 2 contact hours. Just to recap session benefits, so all participants will get for free the CB-PMO framework. You will get access to the largest PMO community. 5 lucky winners will get full year PMO Global Institute memberships, which actually cost $89, but you will get it for free. And also you will get 10% discount on PMO GI PMO certification program. At the end of the main session, we will have a Q&A part, and also we will play the Kahoot game and define 5 lucky winners who will get the digital copy of the PMO guidebook. To give you a short introduction about who we are, PMO Global Institute is the global body for PMO certifications, representing global project management offices, including project, program, and portfolio managers involved in defining, establishing, and running high-performing PMOs in and across industry sectors. Our objective is simple: to make PMO learning available across the globe to all project professionals through events, certifications, networking, and hands-on knowledge sharing. We already have members in 100 plus countries. Also, we have 70 plus partners in 60 countries. 46% of PMO directors said that their organization doesn't understand the value of project management. 68% of stakeholders perceive their PMO as bureaucratic. And now I'm going to pass the floor to our next speaker, Sonia Kral. She's experienced Chief Information Technology Officer with a demonstrated history of working in the mining and metals industry, skilled in business process, enterprise software, customer relationship management, sales management, and change management. She has a strong information technology professional with a bachelor's degree focused in economics, banking, and finance. So now, Sonia, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, everyone. In the meantime, when from the beginning, sorry, just we were just going to go. Okay, this is it. So hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Nadine, for the introduction. Maybe it was said a lot of things, but yes, I'm running IT project management office in Slovenian steel industry. I'm currently also enrolled into the PhD program where I'm going to work on managing AI, which I think that technology is going to, of course, shape the future of PMO as well. And I would like to also then incorporate that later on into the presentation. Thank you for the opportunity. Of course, what I'm going to talk about, not so much about the PMO per se, but of course, the main challenges that as a PMO head and my colleagues and my peers are facing when running when they're running the PMO. I'm sure that every one of us has a different perception of what PMO does, but all in all, and we call it with different names. So it's a PMO, can be a digitalization office, a transformation office, it can be delivery office, service delivery office. So I'm not, regardless of the name that we have, of course, PMO is something, so it's an organizational body that standardizes and centralizes the project management practices or running delivery of the projects. So regardless of the fact whether we are dealing with supportive, controlling, or directive project management office, one can say that PMO is going through the transformation the same way as the companies go through the transformation. And I believe that PMOs have to be in the game, so they have to be part of the whole transformation in order to survive and continue to give value and to demonstrate value within the organization. All in all, PMO is about, of course, it doesn't work. Nadila. Sorry. Sorry, just one moment. I need this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I have this gadget that I would like to work with. So, what is PMO all about? PMO is, of course, about processes. We have to understand the processes that we are dealing with within, and of course, the processes that we are interacting as part of the organization. It's all about people. Of course, PMO is not a self-standing department without project managers, without stakeholders, without sponsors, and collaboration and interaction. There is no project management office. And as already stated, technology is gaining on its importance. So without proper tools that for reporting, for demonstrating the value of the PMO, I believe that PMO cannot compete to the requirements, to the ever increasing requirements of our stakeholders. As I said, I'm running the IT PMO office for the past 5 years, and I was lucky enough to have been given an opportunity to start a PMO. And of course, during this journey, so the PMO that I'm running today is totally different than it was when we started 5 years ago, and it's transformed together with the organization. And of course, we have been, by proving the value, we have been given additional responsibilities, and I think this is the name of the game. It's all about the value that we give to the organization. So what are the typical mistakes that we usually make when we set up PMO? Of course, we assume that our stakeholders understand what we are all about, that the stakeholders understand what project management is, what the processes are. We assume that they understand why we were set up. So and this might create of course some challenges along the way. Unclear value proposition. If our stakeholders do not understand, and even usually it looks like that also the PMO itself struggles with positioning itself within the organization, this is also one of the mistakes that one can make when setting up the PMO. Starting with templates, building the PMO around templates is a big no-no. We were lucky enough that we did not make that mistake. We of course offer templates, but we don't make them mandatory. So we have, I think it's very important to position the project managers and the stakeholders and the sponsors at the center of the whole process, and not at the reporting and, like it was stated before, the bureaucratic practices. What is very important is that I used to work previously before working for Slovenian Steel Company. I used to work for a global IT global corporation. And of course, the requirements of the PMO when you're selling to the customers and just enough governance, it's much different. So the level is much higher than now when we are working on the ordering side. However, so this adaptation is a must. Deploying tools first. So this is also something that I think in Slovenia, it's a very common practice that we do, is that we think that all organizational issues are going to be resolved by deploying a tool or IT system, or so all organizational issues or I don't know, troubles, communication troubles, when things don't fit in together. We think that this is solvable by implementation of IT applications. Unfortunately, it was proven so many times that this is not the case. Ignoring the current culture is also when, like I said, I was working for a huge IT corporation, and coming to manufacturing industry, it was a cultural shock. However, when I was given the opportunity to introduce and to set up the PMO, if I would be setting it in the way that it was set in the previous company, we would be failing from the start, because the culture is different, the requirements are different, and this is something that we have to take into the consideration. What should we do? Check the maturity level. So whenever you start setting up the PMO, you have to check the maturity level. You have to adapt to the culture. Like I said before, if you're trying to force yourself into the organization, you're very definitely going to fail in that. PMO, we are service providers. And if we don't embrace that role, that we are there to deliver the projects based on the requirements from other departments, and so these are our customers. I think that sooner or later, the reality is going to hit us, and we will have to work on. In order to function normally and to progress as PMO, we have to put service level agreement into place. What does that mean? So we have to offer our services to the stakeholders, to our customers, and we have to be very clear about that. So what they can expect from the PMO. Like I said, it's all about value. We have to offer the value to our customers and to the stakeholders. Having said all that, there are many challenges that we are facing, all in all. I always say that if there would be no challenges, we would probably not have a job. So, but in any case, the main pain points from the stakeholders, there are many views that I see when dealing with the PMO. But you can, but I said PMO is not a self-standing organizational body. It's an integration. It's like it serves like an interface between different departments. And of course, it's very important how we are perceived when we are delivering the service. And what are the main pain points that were observed from the stakeholders' perspective? PMs are, of course, demonstrating the value firsthand. So poorly trained PMs, this is definitely our responsibility, that we have competent, self-confident and PMs that know their business. Usually, it is sometimes I have a feeling that in Slovenia there was a hype of PO being generated, and at the same time they were overflown. So all the projects were then run through the PMO, and taking too much on your hands can, of course, decrease the quality of your work, and this can, of course, damage your reputation. In Slovenia, it's also sometimes, the lack of project funding is like that. So I usually picture when we talk to the customers and we see what they want, or we check, we discuss the requirements, usually everybody's picturing a Mercedes-Benz, but then they give you funding for a Fiat. And when you deliver a Fiat, then everybody's wondering, where is the Mercedes? So I think that we have this communication issue that sometimes the expectations, and so it's very important that everybody understands what you are getting at the end of the day. Inconsistencies in approach. We always say that that PMO is there to standardize the project management processes and to standardize the project management processes, and this is also what we have to demonstrate. I'm not so fond I believe that at least in our organization, PM role is a very self-standing role. So every project manager has its own style of leading the project. So this is what is very important. But at least there have to be some common denominators that you see that they are addressing the same areas, but maybe in a different way. So I also believe that the PMOs are there to deliver the strategy, to make strategy real, so that bring strategy into reality. Lack of strategic alignment. So if we have the project that do not speak what is our strategy, probably we are not doing the right things. Sponsorship, that the key success factors of the PMO is to have the right sponsor, the same as with the project. There's a lot of other pain points that are there. I think that what we have to thrive for, it's just it's standardization, of course, but for just enough governance, and we have to be focusing on the value we perceive. There are also other views that that can be challenging for the PMO. Organizational view, where the PMO is positioned. So if the PMO is positioned strategically or on the enterprise level, the value, it's easier. So the optimization of the value it brings can be achieved faster, and of course more can be more seen and easily presented. Business realization management. If there is no place, if the business realization management processes are not in place, if we don't have objective measured how you measure the project that you deliver, and what are the KPIs that you give to the PMO, this can of course cause additional problem. As I said before, PMO is the central point of bringing strategy into reality. And strategy alignment is, no strategy alignment can cause, of course, issues. Main challenge I see that, as I said, PMO and project management will always exist in organizations in some way or another. It doesn't have to have a department where it belongs to. Also, the PMO processes are always going to be somewhere in the organization. So what is important is that when businesses go through the transformation, PMO has to embark on that ship and go along, be there for that. Resource management. Everybody of us is struggling now with how to deliver more with existing or even less resources. So proper resource management in place is a must for a success of PMO. Change management. We are change managers. I think that projects bring, so if you want to change something in an organization, you have to do that by projects. And we are forced, and the projects are fostering the change, and we should embark on that. So the change management is a process that is it's a major process that we have to also engage in. Saying all that, I think that PMO cannot be forcibly introduced into an organization and live long. It has to. So this, I think that the leadership and the servant leadership is the key word here, is needed in order to make PMO successful within the company. How do we do that? I'm going to shorten this a little bit, but what I found is in the past 5 years, we have. I was very proud when we were the first PMO in the Slovenian steel industry. We are organized departmentally, so I'm running the IT. But after 3 years, we were in place. There were a PMO for investment project set up, and also for the research and development project. So we definitely did something good or something positive in that way, that additional PMOs were established. So how did we do that? So we started with trying to be transparent, trying to use best practices to talk about project management, proof with how the projects can be run, that's a win-win situation, and it's beneficial for everybody who participates in the project. To put things into perspective, I think that the PMO has to be led with transparency and, of course, by example. Project management office has, of course, in order to stay in the game, we have to contribute positively to the organization. How do we do that? So, of course, being visible. How can you be visible? Is that you are proactive. You always you try to say what you do and do what you say. Of course, communication is the key. I remember when I was preparing for my PMP, it was clearly stated. So what do project managers do? 90% they communicate. So this is the case also for the PMO. Without being aligned, so understanding what the customer or our stakeholders want and what we need to deliver, what are deliverables at the end of the day, I think this is the key. We have to do that transparently, and for transparency is the key because it brings the trust into the PMO. If you don't gain trust, you're dealing with big numbers, at least we do, and the trust is the key indicator of so what we need to have in order to be successful. At the same time, we have to be ahead of the game because we have to prove that all these new projects, new way of doing things, that we understand that and we adapt properly, and we are flexible enough, to say, okay, today we're working, not naming things, but waterfall, hybrid, agile, whatever it is, to find the best way to make things happen. And collaboration. A PMO is nothing. It's not a self-standing department without our stakeholders, and PMs on the other side, we do not exist. So what I would suggest is that at least maybe it's the culture that I'm working with right now, but I think it's not much different than others, is that we have to have this, that we have to transform our mindset into action. So whatever, because I don't know what others PMOs do, but in order, we have the responsibility from planning to selecting, preparing, defending in front of the board, and then delivering the project. And I think it's very important. It's very important that we take on the responsibility for the actions we take, and that we are also accountable for that. I cannot agree much more with Abraham Lincoln. So commitment is what transforms a promise into reality. Actually, we are organized in a siloed way. So I come from the departmental PMO. However, it is important that we are like the interface between all these departments, and everybody probably has experience with the political games and so forth. We have to overcome that and deliver as efficiently as possible. And PMOs are going to exist if we are going to prove our performance. So it's all about performance. We also have to present and demonstrate what we do in what way. To be proactive means that we are, at least what I think we have achieved in our organization is that PMO is the department you go to when you have an issue, when you have a problem. Sometimes it looks like that everybody is dumping a problem on you, but it depends on how they're dumping the problems. But in any case, I think this is what it takes. You have to take this as a challenge, not as something that is negative. We should not. I think that in the past in Slovenia we have created these hero PMs that save the world with some projects. I think this is not the right way to move forward. So we have to forget, of course, not. We have to view the future potential and to present the future potential, to see the future potential, not just the past accomplishments. And of course, as I said, we have to be. So we have to take over the responsibility for the projects we take. This is sometimes, I think, in Slovenia, a huge issue, responsibility taking, because it's usually connected with the punishment or something negative if you do something wrong. So I also think that you see that in politics, in Slovenia, nobody does wrong. Doctors, everybody, I don't know, we are the country that nobody does anything wrong. Right, and I think that we have to change that a little bit, and this is by taking the responsibility and also for the mistakes we make. And by this it comes the self-confidence and the trust, because also admitting the mistakes is important. I'm a huge fan of PMO. I think that the PMO has its place into the future organizations. However, in order to bring strategy into reality, it should be. I don't think this is. It should be positioned on the enterprise level. Maybe this is just the vision, but I think that being positioned above the departments on the enterprise level, it can optimize the value it can bring. So I see the enterprise PMO as being a central point of, like I said, the central point, the central department of strategy being transformed into reality by being engaged, providing value, by being supportive. Of course, we are so being the department you go to when you have issues, being aligned to understand the strategic objectives. And like I said, I don't know how it's in other organizations, but we are also responsible for the planning of the project. So we have to understand what the strategic alignment is. So we have to be strategically aligned, and we have to understand what the strategic objectives are. Sorry. I think it was. Sorry. The gadget stopped working. Yeah, training and coaching. We have to have a monopoly over the training and coaching within the organization. The training and coaching on project management, change management. Right. Leadership. Servant leadership, as I said, is the way to move forward. And of course, we have to do that in an innovative way, being flexible. And okay. So what I would do as so at the last slide, what I would recommend for all the PMO leaders out there: templates, absolutely no. So stay away from that. Don't build your PMO around the templates. Yes, of course you can offer them, but I think that you should not. If you're doing that, then you're probably perceived as being bureaucratic. Best practices, of course, find ideas outside your organizations, but then adapt them to your culture and to the organization. Be unique, of course, by all means, and of course show value. Ask the right questions, of course. Be there to propose the ideas, and then demonstrate the value proposition for them. To maybe, how to say, at the end, PMO is there to serve the stakeholders. And what is important is that value is demonstrated with whatever projects we deliver. And I think with that in mind and with that in focus, PMO, together with the technology being developed, has a future stand in the organizations. So thank you very much to the audience and to all of you out there for your attention.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you
if
so
you
much.
have any questions, I'm happy to answer the questions. For those who maybe, and of course you can always contact me via email or via LinkedIn. Yes.
I have one, maybe to go just
Changing
a sound check before one timing.
So we will have a Q&A part at the end of the main sessions. So maybe you can type your questions in the chat box, or later then ask them directly.
He's here live. Just one question. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So before I mention, I think for me it's very interesting how you say that it's actually on organizational unit, but it should go to the enterprise level, because it brings value. I completely agree with that. But where do you see the main challenges of doing that? And what is in your eyes needed for a PMO to be elevated to the enterprise level, that the PMO should offer to the company? Meaning, if you want to get upgraded, how do you see that how would you present or sell that to management? Because we should go to the enterprise level because of what benefits?
Yeah. Yeah, very good question. This is, I'm struggling that because, like I said, we are organized on a departmental level. What I think we need is a strong sponsor. I also had, my experience was that the new IT director came, who was totally shocked that we did not have a PMO, right? So we have to have the right sponsor. We have, so the selling point would be to centralize and standardize the whole strategy development through one. So to centralize the strategy implementation through one department. I think this is the key selling point, and somebody has to see that. How to do that? I think that the trust is the main. What I'm doing here is that slowly, step by step, we are by delivering or promising what we say, being trustworthy, being open also to the mistakes. I think this is the way forward. But I don't think that this can happen without a huge sponsor from the owner, from the board member. Otherwise,
because in general, I think that the question is, why would we do it on enterprise level? What actually, what governance do you have on the enterprise level above sectors, right? And why do you need to involve them there? I guess that's the main question.
Exactly, because now what we are doing, we are competing.
Right.
We are competing on a departmental level. Who is going to get more money? Who is going to? If you're putting that on the enterprise level, there is one strategy and clear prioritization. Now we are, I know how this is. We are now putting the plans, and now we are competing for the money that we have for the next year. Is it always the smartest decision, the most optimized decision? I think it could be done maybe better.
Okay.
I don't know. But I think that this is how to do that. Yeah.
$1 million question.
Yeah, $1 million question. Yeah. Thank you very
thanks.
much. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Sonia, for your extended, very deep presentation. Everyone got a lot of value from it. And now I'd like to pass the floor to Uras to make a short introduction of the CEO of PMO Global Institute. So Uras, please, the floor is yours.
Yes, hello, hi everyone. I would like to introduce Abdullah. He is the CEO of PMO Global. He's also a huge investor, passionate PMO. He's also the chairman in the PMO, and he's responsible for PMO guidebook. So the floor goes now to Abdullah.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon, nearby almost good evening, right? So how are you doing, everyone? Can you see me and hear me clear and loud? Wow, fantastic. I see a lot of my friends around here, and it's a very interesting one that we have this hybrid kind of setup, and I'm talking from a very unique situations, right? So I'm traveling UK, and I'm now actually at the end of the border, which is called the land ends. It is in the western part of Cornwall, and there's a beautiful one. But I'm top of the hill, so found a weak, Wi-Fi link, but still I could, manage to to join this program, just with the passion that I wanted to say hello to all the Slovenia, chapters members, because this is really exciting that and the pitch I just heard from Sonja, that was brilliant. She just spot on the challenges of the PMO, just spot on. Big congratulations to the last speaker. She really good, right? So you see, today's the main speakers is Sonja, and as well as the Gregor. Gregor, is a great speaker, very knowledgeable in PMO. So they'll be speaking most of it. I just wanted to say that the world actually going through a transition from a typical project management to PMO kind of environments, right? Why I'm saying this, because you see, globally there are more than 1.2 million PMP certified professionals, right? So if you look at how many PMP trainers do we have like maybe a couple of thousand PMP trainers around the world, okay? And if you also consider like Prince 2, it has another 1 million plus certified professionals around the world. So we're talking about 2 million plus certified professionals, and probably there are millions of project management professionals. But the concern is how many PMO professionals do we have? What is next after you are successful as a project manager in your career? The next layer of your project management career mostly is become part of a PMO or become head of the project management office or department, go rise in the career, right? So and globally, as a result, since we do not have many qualified professionals in PMO space in terms of trainers, in terms of guidebook, in terms of local community. So there is a place PMO Global Institute has come up, and we are trying to actually fill up this gap with all of your support and engagement through these events and all, right? So today one of the framework that we are going to talk about, which is called CB-PMO framework. There a lot of your questions probably will get some answers, because it will show you how step-by-step process you should set up your PMO, how you should capture your challenges of the top management, how you should define your KPIs, and how you should roll it out, right? So many of the questions that probably someone has asked, right? So what was the question? Probably Rajesh has asked one of the questions I saw in the chat box. I think after Gregor's session, probably many of the answers you'll have. And in fact, it doesn't matter, all depends on your challenges of the top management. Then you gradually define what kind of PMO do you want, right? And it's not necessary that you have to move from a local departmental PMO to enterprise PMO. It all depends on the need of the top management, as the other talked about, right? So with these notes, so I would like to say that globally, if you talk about in terms of maturity of the PMO, we say there are 5 layers of PMO maturity in terms of maturity, starting from infant stage to optimized stage. Infant stage means you don't have actually any defined process, but you have a department called project management office or department. And the matured stage we call optimized stage. In between you have defined and other stages as well. So globally, 88% PMOs still operating under infant stage. That means they have a project management office or department. It could be functional enterprise, whatever it is, but still they're operating in infant stage. Can you see the challenge? I mean, if they're operating in infant stage, and it is one of the reasons that they don't have any process, policies of operating procedures, and they don't have any straightforward guideline how they can operate and manage and set the expectation and the roadmap of the the PMO, right? So there is a place from PMO Global Institute that we are trying to actually address those issues, and within next 3 to 5 years, our core mission is to actually at least improve 5% PMO performance in next 3 to 5 years. And if we can actually help these 5% challenging PMOs, probably will be helping and saving trillions of dollars around the world, and helping people the PMO heads and project managers to do better in their careers and for the organizations, right? So with this note, I would like to pass it on to Nadine, and best wishes for today's events. It's looking great, this hybrid kind of model, which is rarely happens, right? So we are also learning that it's a very smart way to do it. I would like to thank all the organizers of PMI Slovenia chapters, and wish you all the best. Any support you need, we are always there in PMO space, right? And thank you very much, and have a good day. Take care of yourself.
Thank you so much, Abdullah, for your inspiring speech. And now, dear participants, be careful. Starting from this session, take notes into your phones, because at the end of the event, we will play the Kahoot game, and the questions are made on the base of this content. So you will have the chance to win one of 5 full-year PMO Global Institute memberships. So be focused and take notes. And now I'm going to pass the floor to Gregor Androina. Gregor has 20 years of wide experience related to project management, gained in energy production, investments, and mechanical system and production line installations. Among his achievements are leading the enterprise PMO unit, 5+ employees, portfolio of 30+ projects, also setting up and managing project management processes and tools for its technical and investment unit and execution of technical services related to NPP. He has coordinated, supported 15 plus production line installation projects in automotive industry. Gregor helps organizations and individuals to systematically achieve needed value in projects, portfolios, and create organization strategy. And now, Gregor, the floor is yours. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, just a second that my presentation gets prepared.
We can hear you. Great.
Okay, so thank you, Nadine, for such a nice presentation of my experiences. I'm very happy to be here to present Global Institute and speak for PMI Chapter Slovenia. I kind of apologize that I will be sitting here because I have audience also online. So it's a kind of challenge to have it in hybrid mode. But anyway,
Yeah. Trenutno vidijo vse, kar je gor na ekranu.
Ne, ti imaš
S tekstom mislim, ja.
kako šeraš, just a second, kako šeraš, da boš imel extended monitor, no?
Just play from the start and that's it.
Ne, dva monitorja moraš priti.
Dva monitorja rabimo, ja.
Ali ne dela, se dela.
To ne dela.
To ne? Wi-Fi.
Gregor, you can press just play from the start and that's it. Play it from the start. Yes, perfect.
Bomo malo improvizirali.
Mhm.
Ja, hvala. Okay, so we will talk today about PMO approach, certified baseline PMO framework and its layers, some key performance indicators, and have some conclusion. However, I will not speak much about project management offices. Sonia has did a great job before me. I will just focus on the setting up, building up project management office. So in the process, step-by-step process, how to do it by this so-called CB-PMO framework. At this point, I would like to ask you if you could help me focus a little bit and share in chat how are you involved in your project management office? What is your role? And maybe just type in I'm project manager and I am in enterprise project management office, or something similar, or just I am planner and we do not have any office. And is it chat?
Gor, tam kjer je še 40 zraven, na sredini.
Jaz sem klikal.
Tako je.
Kaj, hvala?
Ne, na direkciji klikni zgoraj.
Ja, pa ni.
Se ne odpre. Mora je foto prezentacija.
Nadine, do you see the chat?
Yes, yes, I see the chat.
We don't see it here.
Oh, but not problem. I will collect
Can you
all
share
the
with
questions.
me how many, I don't know, project managers do we have? Have any heads of PMO, planners? What kind of we have?
All right. Andrea is working with PMOs as a consultant. Me, Thursday, is PM, preparing for PMP and still working to get in PMO. Also, we have Jana, who is head of PMO in Inter-Europa, global logistic company. Also, we have Esser. He will join PMO team soon, therefore can't answer precisely. We have a Zoom user who is working with PMOs as a consultant. Yeah, Mahesh has 9 years experience in PMO, both program and portfolio management. Also, we have a program manager, a PM, chief project officer, PM practitioner, consultant and researcher, head of PM. Yeah, pretty a lot.
So we have a lot of PMOs. I'm glad to hear that you're present, and I will continue with my presentation if I can. Jim? Double click. Double click. Okay, so let's talk about PMO. It's well-known acronym, and maybe sometimes because of the reasons you also heard, it's not such a good voice because there are a lot of challenges and failures and so on. But however, we believe that PMO is a strong acronym, well known, and by the Global Institute experts, it also can mean much more. And if you try to build up or transform project management office, of course, if you have a right approach, this PMO can bring you a lot of value. So therefore, we, the Global Institute, have developed some additional acronym meanings, starting with P as a purpose, because we believe that project management office has to have a big meaning at the beginning, and purpose just to make understanding why we need PMO, and to know at the end if we have achieved its goal. So furthermore, we wish to know how we are measuring in PMO, and wish to know how well our processes are going on, to be aware what is going on. And finally, we also wish to optimize, because every process needs to be optimized. If not, we cannot achieve long-term value. Of course, there is a point here that we are not some kind of project which is for a few years, but we have to have constant development. There are constant changes in the market, in customer wishes, in the project, so we always need to move forward. So therefore, for this approach, Global Institute developed PMO guidebook. It's a guide to project management office principles and standards, which actually identifies basic principles, how to guide behavior, actions of PMO professionals and other stakeholders to deliver strategic initiatives, so projects in our case, and of course value to business objectives. This book has some basic framework on which we can work, and to translate the organization's business objective to a strategy or further actions, we kind of need this framework. And Global Institute with experts provided us this certified baseline PMO consultant framework, within which we can use for setting up, building up project management office. And it has basically 4 layers, from the foundation, of course, to execution layer, supporting layer, and a leadership layer. If we look forward more deeper, these layers have sub-layers, and at the top we can find foundation layers. At the center we unite execution layers, and at the right and the left supporting layers, and leadership layer at the bottom. So in a whole complete picture, this is the basically complete step-by-step process from the start to the end, how to build up and set up a project management office. And if we start with, let's say, business objectives, which are answer to the question, why exactly do we need a project management office? When do we need it? What kind of resources are needed for that? It all basically answers to the question, to the challenges and needs of business. So furthermore, if we develop these objectives to the PMO strategy, we can then develop deeper meaning, the purpose of the project management office. Of course, we need to develop some vision, mission of project management office to know right at the start what we intend to do with this unit. If we go deeper in the foundation layer, we need to start with the health check, maturity check, as also Sonia mentioned. And here it's really important to identify any needs or issues which the company already has. I have to mention here that the biggest aim of this check is not just to know in which level the company is, but by the assessment, by the conversations, you can find the basic needs and pains of people, of business units, and so on. And this is what we are looking for. So if you can discover these pains, you can then, of course, also build some function on it, some services which you can provide, and put it all together in the roadmap to show what and where can project management office provide in the time scale. And in kind of way, this also shows the intention of the strategic plan of project management office, what will be built in a long run. So to wrap it all together, we put all the findings and decisions and meanings in PMO charter, which is kind of contract between the organization and project manager office, and tell us all about basic things, background, objectives, functions, organization, structures, and so on, in high level, and give us, let's say, green light with the sign that we can proceed with the implementation of the project manager office and proceed with the execution. So in the execution layer, we of course need some basic policies, procedures, governance, so-called 2PG, and based on the roadmap which we have, we start to implement the first one. Not all of them at once. It is strongly advisable to start with and develop small-scale proof of concept, let's say in one business unit or in one program or in few projects, just to test feasibility of the established new system model of project management office, to find out the issues and maybe some weaknesses, and work it before we go in full scale into the company and develop it for every business unit. So, of course, in the long way, we need to develop some, at first, basic key performance indicator to know if we are making progress with this implementation of new processes and governance and procedures and so on. And of course, define also roles and develop competencies of team members and everyone engaged in the processes of project management and so on. And we need, at the end of the day, of course, to check also if this investment in project management office has a return of investment. So there we need to be focused also on the financial view to show the results also in that way to the management to see what are the biggest values brought in this picture. So overall, of course, we need continuous improvements in all this process from the beginning, from the proof of concept further to make internal review within the PMO groups, within the feedback from stakeholders, and of course also by doing some audits and trainings and so on, we develop this process of continuous improvement to push forward this execution model and building up a project manager office step by step. So we believe that showing the value of project management office is very important, and I would really appreciate if you could share with us also what you think about what kind of PMO KPI should be to show the value of project management office. If you can just type in the chat, I will check it, or maybe from the audience, what kind of KPIs you have. What is the best one that shows that we have a value from the PMO, not just by projects? Delivery on time, delivery on budget. These are sound fine, but it's more about probably delivery of some projects. I'm asking for the seeking for the KPIs which tell us how good are we in the project management office.
I have one proposition. I mean, it could be the financial impact, meaning if we are running everything as centralized as a PMO, we're talking about elevating it. How much money, what is the financial impact because of the optimization of the process,
that's
and actually how much money are we saving to the company?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
A selling point to elevate.
To elevate, yeah.
Deliver value, ROI, of course. Resource usage.
Actually, what you have to do, you have to define benefits, and then you have to prove whether you have delivered what you planned before.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's per se. It depends, right? What you want.
Of course.
Yeah, if you talk about KPIs, usually you can specify a KPI.
Exactly. Yeah, but I think that it's benefits, the outcome, the benefit realization management, I think has to be in place. So delivering value.
Yeah, that's the main point. There are a lot of thinking or maybe some project management office which starts within the project management, and they are used to measure how well is project performed, and they try also to use the same approach also for project management office, but this does not fit, because you have to measure how well PMO works and what PMO brings. And this is on another level when you have a portfolio of projects and you need to, let's say, streamline processes and so on, and make other benefits which are not the same as on specific project. So at the Global Institute, experts has come with the surveys and a lot of participants to some common key performance indicators, even though that at the just to move this or not, even though that we have in a book, PMO guidebook, a lot of KPIs. There are around 50 plus key performance indicator described in a generic way to be used, but of course they are not fitted for every organization. You have just means there, explanations, and you can fit them to your environment and use them as you wish. Of course, the biggest challenge is actually how to do it, because you have to gather the data, you have to adjust it to the current situation at your company. But even though you have some background for that. So at the community, we believe that most common KPIs explaining how PMO well works is about improving the project completion process. So how fast are we at project throughput, and how good or better, better are we at predictions, like how faster can we plan today, how better can we estimate needed capacity of resources, how faster or better are we in risk management, dealing with issues, and so on. This kind of stuff. How are we improving customer satisfaction? Are we helping our teams to easy the way in the processes? Are we streamlining processes? Are we today faster than, let's say, last year with the processes? Are we able to, let's say, talk about time to market? Are we able to gather more initiatives for the project, and are we faster from the idea to the initiation of project and to delivery to market? And of course, some examples of, let's say, resource management. How well do we utilize the resources, or maybe what is what is our turnover of the resources? And so, of course, we need to focus also on the financial side. Just a second. So if you go further, sorry for my voice, it's a little bit weak. I'm still a little bit sick, but I hope it stands for until the end. So supporting Claire is all about supporting the project management team and stakeholders of project management office to have them do their job and provide some means for work, so models, methods, artifacts, define how the stakeholder management works, in what kind of environment are we working. So, the office can be, let's say, more business unit related or projectized, or maybe matrix organization. There also, of course, is important to vary which kind of technologies we use. As also Sonia said, it is important to use some, let's say, portfolio management tools and tools with dashboards and so on, not just tools for let's say, project management, project planning. There are means also for team structure. It is important how our relations and communications related from, let's say, steering committee, sponsor, program managers, project managers, team members, to the project management office, and of course to other stakeholders. This is all all explained in the book also, and of course about the succession planning. What are the means for departures, for onboarding, for talent recognition, and maybe talent development and so on. What kind of supporting functions does PMO provide in basics for planning, information gathering, and so on. And actually also on PMO structure and types. So are we, let's say, in project level, program level, or portfolio level? Are we functioning, cooperating in the supportive or directive mode, or maybe just controlling mode? Yes. Of the PMO? And of course, all together, all steps has to be built up in an agile way, because the PMO is like, let's say, 2-year projects. It depends what you want and where you start. But for sure, you cannot start in a big scale. You need small steps, small bricks to become. So you simply have to implement Agile Manifesto and start building it through, let's say, quarter to quarter and year to year to become, let's say, enterprise project management office. So this brings us also to the last layer, which is all about leadership. We believe that this is one of the most important ones. It has great emphasis in the PMO guidebook, because leadership is all about, let's say, where you want to go. And on the other side, there are a lot of means and comparison also for management skills, but then you need both of them to deal with such great challenges. And another one very important thing is executive sponsor, that you have identified him and that he is experienced and can help build and develop the project management office. Without it, PMO can really struggle to build up and survive. And at the end, one of the lately most important things, of course, is emotional intelligence, because simply there is a lot of communication in the project management and project management office, and the emotional intelligence is all about human interactions, and and you simply need to know how to sense, how to identify, how to manage and use this communication to achieve your goals. And this is basically the complete framework from the foundation layer, which also basically tells us about the foundations, about the execution layer, which bring us to the one most important thing that we measure and optimize the system, and until the end to the support and leadership and management of PMO. So in a conclusion, I would just like to share that PMO guidebook is not very thick, but it's rich in providing only the fundamental means to set up or manage PMO. It has, let's say, very good framework on which you can build up. And beside of descriptions and fundamental steps and let's say checkpoints, what you need to do when you are setting up or transforming project management office, you get also and only the templates and also vocabulary and definitions and so on, so that we can have a common language when we speak about project management office. And at this point, I would like to ask you, since it was such a short presentation and with a little improvisations because of the technology here, I would like to ask you if you would like to hear more about this framework. I'm willing to prepare additional, let's say, more detailed presentation of this certified baseline PMO consultant framework. And if you can just type in the chat yes, and that is all I need to know. And if there is enough interest, I will notify you with additional info. Yeah, thank you. Additional information. So when should we do this webinar? And at that time, I would like to invite you to the PMO Slovenia community, where this webinar will be executed, let's say in a few weeks. You're all welcome to there. You can find us in the LinkedIn. It's now a group around 50 people, mostly PMO managers and some, let's say, project managers who believe in PMO also and are looking forward to it. And I would like to also announce that we are planning training in Slovenia, hopefully in November. Depends on the interest, and that we are here as a local support with Global Institute and me to help you or answer you in any of your question about training or CB-PMO framework or the procedure or whatever you are interested in. So today we have also a pleasure that with us is also Global Institute, and on their website there are a lot of informations, but you can also, of course, ask me and find me in the LinkedIn. You're welcome to connect with me or email me directly, and I will answer you whatever you need. But probably you should also use today's opportunity to ask anything directly to Global Institute. So thank you for your listening.
Thank you.
Very happy that is such a big number with us, and have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you, Gregor, for your brilliant presentation and explanation of CB-PMO framework. Now I see that all of our participants are curious to to get details. And now, before starting our Q&A session, we have one more speaker. I'm going to pass the floor to the Vice President of Global Partnership at PMO Global Institute, Corinne O'Brien, to speak on the topic Career in PMO. Corinne is the Vice President of Partnerships, and she's responsible for promoting PMO learning through collaboration and the partnership program. Corinne has a deep understanding of the diversity of project management, gaining cross-cultural expertise from operating in 6 countries across 3 continents over the past 16 years. By sharing the knowledge of PMO Global Institute framework and guidebook, Corinne strives to change the fabric of PMOs across continents by ensuring PMOs are not simply performing, but succeeding, thriving, and speaking the same global language. Now, Corinne, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is an amazing number of people. This is absolutely excellent. I'm going to ask you something really, really uncomfortable now. Everybody that's online, if you wouldn't mind, just for a second, so that we can get a nice group photo of everybody. Would you mind just turning on your cameras, please? Just for a second. Look at this. Everybody's doing it. Thank you. Thank you. This is absolutely fantastic. So after 3 big cheesy smiles. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Look at you guys. You look amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Fantastic. I love this hybrid environment too. I know everybody's been mentioning it, but it's quite exciting for us because this is the first time that it's happened actually. So yeah, thank you everybody. So as Navin said, I am the VP of Partnerships at PMO Global Institute. And our aim here basically is to support the champions of the PMO space. I can see in Slovenia, you actually have quite a large PMO community here. And I think this is the time really for you guys to be getting together to improve the success rates of PMOs. And Sonia, your presentation was absolutely awesome. Really one of the best that I've seen. So thank you for that. My little bit here today, I'm just going to tell you how we can support you as a PMO. So whether you're working in the PMO space at the moment, or it's the next step on your career ladder, this is what we can do for you at PMO Global Institute. So let me share my screen with you, everybody. Okay. So the first thing is that we do have a fantastic membership program. So it's completely free to be an associate member. Nadine, if I can ask you, please, thank you, just to pop the link into the chat box here. If everybody can just take a moment, please, and sign up for that membership right now. It is completely free. And the purpose of this, with our dear community manager, Dylan here. Hi, Dylan.
Hey, everyone.
So Dylan is an absolute legend when it comes to building communities. And what we're going to do when you sign up for this free membership, we'll be giving out monthly newsletters, sharing success stories, lessons learned, how PMOs are progressing into agile environments, lots and lots of different information. So please sign up for that free membership right now. The regular membership is $89, and this is the prize that 5 of you are going to win this evening. And with this regular membership, you will receive, so this is the PMO guidebook in the flesh. Here it is. You can win a digital version tonight. So please, everybody join in the quiz at the end of this session. So this is the first way to become a member. The next way, we have created this amazing 21-hour course that is built around the CB-PMO framework and the amazing PMO guidebook too. You have listened to Gregor tonight. Gregor, thank you so much, because I know that you have been really quite sick this week. So I think it was really brave of you to kind of plow through. You were amazing. Gregor is our business partner and the first authorized instructor within Slovenia. I know that you guys have a beautiful community there, and he's just about to start planning his next training program. Once you complete this 21-hour course, it basically teaches you and trains you how to implement this framework in a very, very practical way. The guidebook itself, it is very small, as Gregor said, not in total, but it is very small, only around 190 pages. It is a very, very practical guide, and the rest of it is all tools and templates and checklists and very practical tools. So absolutely, becoming a CB-PMO consultant should be in your calendar for November with Gregor. So this is our certification. The third way is that you can become a business partner with PMO Global Institute. What this does is, if you feel like you are a trainer, I know that a lot of project managers are sort of natural trainers, because it is a massive part of your job, you know, to mentor and coach and train people so that they're going in the right direction. When you become an authorized instructor with us, we give you all of the support, the tools, everything you need to be a real change maker in your community, not just in Slovenia, but in Europe and the rest of the world. So thank you guys. This is the 3 ways. I hope everybody signed up for our free membership tonight, and Dylan will be giving you lots and lots of information over the coming weeks. But thank you very much, and good luck on the quiz. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Corina, for letting dozens of participants to know what opportunities they have. And now we have finished with our main part of the event, and we are coming to the Q&A session. So I have around 8 questions in the chat box, and now I will start announcing them. So, and the first question is, how we can identify the value of PMO inside organization, how to convey the management team. So who can take this question? Maybe Gregor can come to us. We want to see you.
I have something muted.
Yeah, muted.
Hi, so once again, please.
How we can identify the value of PMO inside organization, how to convey it to management team.
Well, for sure, if you use PMO guidebook, you have like around 60 different ways of how to make, let's say, some key performance indicators or any different kind of metrics, how to show the value. So there are ways of from the financial view and other aspect to show, as I mentioned also in a few brief common KPIs, ways to convince that you are making the progress. Anyway, it's very important that you start measuring. Without measuring, you will never convince management that you are successful. And of course, you need to measure, as I said, different things as you are measuring in the project. So you need to measure what have you done better with the PMO. So that means that, let's say, you have speed up some processes. You have, let's say, have a better utilization of resources because you are doing resource management. You have maybe other improvements in the communication, and there are a lot of stuff, like I said, 60 plus different ways how to do it.
All right, thank you. The next one question is, how can we avoid and understand the gap between PMO and other departments?
Well, I would say it's all about the communication, actually, this is, from my point of view, the purpose of PMO, to work, let's say, in matrix way and centralize the system, centralize the processes, bring together, let's say, project managers from different departments, and start to work with them in the same level, providing them the lessons learned in the projects and share these lessons learned, solve, let's say, issue of risk together with the experience from another units and so on. So it's simply a unit at the beginning, let's say, one promoter of project management office, which can start to communicate and work with everybody from every unit and start bringing together the processes and people in the same table to solve these issues.
Mm-hmm. All right. And here is kind of a case. Suppose if we are taking an example of a particular organization in a X domain, company already have a centralized cell, but it's not like acting as a PMO, but same organization set up a PMO cell. We can call it as portfolio or program management office. But the question is, how much will sustain a newly PMO cell as a baby, and how will grow up the same there between and lots of departments? How can we well establish it and set up the PMO cell?
So if I understand correctly, the question is how to, let's say, develop the PMO as a business unit, as a dependent unit. It basically, for me, it does this really is not the right question at the beginning, because it's not important right on the start if this is the separate unit or what level it is. It's all about the people who are engaged for setting up this PMO. So if they have, let's say, means to do it, if they have a great sponsor at the company at the executive level, they can start to make this movement. And as I described, go through the health check, maturity check, and so on, and discover needed functions through seeking the needs and pains and all things that are required from different business units. And then this group can bring it all together and start to solve it, start to build it. And of course, when you start to do that, business units starts to appreciate it. And then it comes to the opportunity, then you can build up some special cell or unit of people with the PMO. But as I said at the start, this does not need to be a business unit. This can be just one person who has, let's say, purpose, goal, and all approval from the stakeholders, sponsor support to do it.
All right, thank you. And the next one question is, do you recommend for PMI chapters to set up a PMO? If yes, what type do you suggest?
You mean PMO chapter, PMO group, or what? Once again?
I think we need maybe the author of this question. He asked, do you recommend for PMI chapters to set up a PMO? I suppose like to integrate it into the structure, but I'm not sure.
So probably the question goes if PMI chapter should have subchapter PMO. I think yes, but I believe that this is not the question only for PMI, but for me, this is the question for Slovenia. Do we want to have a community with within the PMO, and regardless to which global project management association it belongs.
Yeah, Corinne, you would like to add something, right?
Yes, please. Can I invite our community manager here, Dylan, to just pop in and let the audience know what you're doing at the moment, please, Dylan.
Yes, with pleasure. So the PMO Global Institute has an initiative that we're working out, and that initiative is pretty much my baby at the moment. And it's to create these network of expertise, right? These communities in different regions all around the world, right? Because our mission at the PMO Global Institute is to make these project management office, these PMO experiences available to project professionals all over the world. And, you know, it's something that we really found that was lacking, is these PMO communities. So a place to, you know, network, open up new business opportunities for one another, exchange best practices and knowledge. And this is something that we're looking to create, these local PMO communities all around the world.
Great.
Thank you, Dylan. And we have two more very interesting questions. The following is, what is meant with Agile Manifesto? Do you mean to have different releases, PMO1, PMO2, and create a roadmap plan?
Well, if you check on the Google what the PMO Agile Manifesto is, you will see this. There's like a few different things in approach how to deal with projects. You, of course, have to let's say put communication with the customer in front of the arguing about the contract issues. You have to, let's say, put in front flexibility and focus to change solutions instead of following just the progress of process progress of project management plan, and you need to be focused on the delivering result instead of delivering the documentation, and you have to focus also on the communication, the way of working with people instead of just focusing on tools and processes and so on. This is in general, but of course there are, I think, 12 different ways how to deal with this.
All right, and what is your opinion about a PMO? How much it's worth for all industries apart from IT, not to be limited up to IT only?
I believe it's for a lot of companies one thing they are missing, and they really don't understand and know the value of the PMO. And I would not say that this is just PMO as an acronym, because a lot of people have a different type of organization than they already use project management, and they use a lot of functions and services of PMO, but they actually don't know that they have it. And then if you check it out and put it all together and check all the benefits of the PMO and the results and values which can be delivered, and we can talk about this like for 1 or 2 hours about the benefits and values. You can see that company is losing a lot of money because simply they don't see yet that they have issues in the project management. On the other way, there are a lot of issues, or let's say challenges in project management which are not related directly to the project, but are related to the portfolio of projects. If I say, in other words, colleagues from United States like to say, you simply cannot throw 10 kilos of, let's say, sugar into the bag for 5 kilo. If you do that, some sugar falls off and you are losing money.
Thank you so much. And we also have Mahendra. He said like we've missed a question from him. So Mahendra, maybe you can ask it directly to Gregor. You can turn on your microphone and ask the question, because I'm not sure that I know which one. Yes, please.
Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so my question is earlier you have said in construction, we are a part of construction industry. So there, if you see project management or PMO is working in different mode. So here the question is that if we are not getting into details of each and every function or department or various roles which are being played, till that point we will not get grip. So how the controlling PMO will function without getting into nitty-gritty of construction projects?
I kind of hear you not so good, but I think, are you asking if this, let's say, framework does fit also for the construction type of projects, or?
It is more or less for construction projects.
No, it's totally dependent. The framework is background. It's a framework which you can use regardless of the, let's say, type of industry, size of the company, size of the projects, regardless of the type of the project management office you intend to have. It's, let's say, from level of project, program, or portfolio, or whether you would like to have enterprise level or center of excellence and so on. So there are no specific things. This is just a framework which takes you step by step and gives you only that mean to build the PMO in any, let's say, most of the environments, because at the end, when you use some tools, some, let's say, descriptions, some guidance and so on, you have to look at what actually you need at your company or organization, and you build on that. So it's totally open, flexible, and you can use it whether you are most in, let's say, waterfall environment, or you're in agile environment, or whatever you need.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now actually it's time to go to our quiz. So maybe the last one question. Gregor, please tell us the difference between PMO consultant and a PMO manager.
Well, manager, I don't know if manager is certified or not, but PMO consultant, if this is certified baseline PMO consultant, for sure has all needed knowledge and means to, let's say, set up or manage or transform project management office. It has also available all needed tools from templates to other means, and consultant can, of course, help somebody else also to build or set up or define PMO, probably PMO manager, if not certified, if he is not well aware of the frameworks or other ways of setting up the PMO. He is probably knows well about how his PMO works. He knows for sure how to work in PMO, but the question is how good is he in the working on PMO to develop its functions and bring the best benefits and value.
Thank you so much. And now